Tonight, our finance chair, Gracie, is going to help me by running most of the meeting. So I'm just going to show the agenda quick, run through a few things, and then Gracie's going to take it from there. So the agenda for tonight, we have a few things that we wanted to touch on. Student nominations for the award ceremony, an event that we are planning on campus for virtual students, where we actually are meeting them halfway. They'll be there anyway. And then we'll do our normal budget and marketing reports. Then we have a couple different things to just kind of give you an update on. Today we actually had an opportunity to meet with Middle States Accreditation. So we'll get into that a little bit later. And we also want to kind of ask the students that are joining us this evening to give us any ideas on what we might include in our update to faculty. We have 3 important things we want to vote on tonight, so we hopefully will get a few more members in. We do need at least 2 more. No, excuse me, I'll get that right. We need 1 more student to show up tonight so that we can hold these votes and still be following our own bylaws. So, and then last but not least is upcoming events. I'll leave this here for just a moment while Gracie gets situated. So you can keep in mind that we have Hack Tank this week on Harrisburg campus. The silent auction in coordinate with Dave Giving is coming up in April. If there are any items and things like that that you want to donate for the auction to be auctioned off, Faith can talk on that in a little bit. And then also Dave Collier is going to be on Harrisburg campus to do a comedy show. So that's the guy from Full House who's going to be joining us at Hack Harrisburg on April 20th. All right, so Gracie, I'm going to leave the slides up. And do you want to talk a little bit about the nominations for students first?
Sorry, if you notice, my setup is a bit hectic. I am at a different house, and I grabbed my charger, but it turns out it's the charger I've been planning to donate to be basically taken apart and reused however one technician wants to use it. So my laptop is dead, and I'm trying to do it to have this meeting throughout my phone. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, student nominees. I believe at least 3 of us will be graduating within the next 2 to 3 semesters. The positions are myself, the finance chair, Faith, our vice chair, and then Corey, our head chair. And because of that, we have student nomination executive council packets that we will be giving out, and also offering to I believe it will be put on our hack page, Corey, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So these are the election packets. A little different than. No, you're fine. You're right, though. We do want to probably highlight that we are looking to fill 3 positions on the council for fall. And as Gracie said, there's a few of us graduating. So you're right. Emily already put that out on the website. So, but that also went out via email.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize for my mistake. It's been a little hectic. I've been taking care of a little dog.
No, that's fine. It's good information either way.
Yes. Oh, and thank you for that link, Emily. Okay, so student nominations. Okay, back on track. Due to our award ceremony coming up on May 5th, we have various awards that we will be giving out to students and faculty. And some of our awards will be student nominated. And those include surveys through SurveyMonkey, I believe it is. And the links will be sent in the chat box. And basically, as students, we are allowed to nominate other students, faculty, and outstanding staff that we think deserve an award for everything that they have done for virtual learners like ourselves.
Yeah, and the virtual VIP award, which is student to student nominated, is the first time that we're doing that. That one's a big deal for us. We think that it's important that students recognize that their peers that are helpful and are really going above and beyond to engage in the classroom, just as much as we hope that the nomination for star faculty, you'll consider some professors and other staff members that have really made a difference for you.
Yes, thank you
So
for that.
this one coming up, the item 2, Gracie, we'll just slide right in. This one's your baby. I can't wait for you to tell everyone about it.
Okay, so the upcoming Monday and Tuesday, which is March 26th and 27th, as we all know, are the proctored exams for virtual students, specifically the paper testing. And because we all know there's some stress involved regarding paper testing and the amount of importance that's stressed on these exams can be a bit overwhelming at times. Because of that stress, we want to help alleviate it while also promoting the VLSAC to virtual students. We thought, hey, this would be a great time to have a table set up on each campus and be able to talk to other virtual students about the advisory council while also passing out various foods and prepackaged snacks and water bottles, I believe. Is that correct, Corey?
Yep. For the most part, it's all prepackaged snacks and water bottles right now, unless you're a lucky Harrisburg campus person. But we're going to hold off on announcing that because we're just still kind of in the planning process. Yeah, that's definitely a new way that we're trying to get out there and meet virtual students a little bit more. And it's hard, obviously, being virtual to meet face-to-face, but I figure if you're coming to campus for a test, we might as well make it a little bit more enjoyable. So we did post the schedules here. It's blank after the 26th only because we were waiting to kind of figure out a good time that one of our members would be able to be there. We believe that that's going to be in the afternoon, but stay tuned on Facebook. We'll make sure you have the link to that in the chat, or also at the end of the meeting, we'll go over that on the last slide. Does anybody have any questions so far about student nominations for the awards ceremony or our on-campus events coming up next week? All right, so Gracie, did you want me to bring up the Excel sheet for you?
Yes, please. Because my laptop has died and I cannot do a budget report from my phone, obviously. Right before my laptop died, I sent the budget to Corey so she could pull it up and then I could explain it further.
Sure. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right. You tell me where to go.
Okay. Do you mind just zooming in a bit? So that way just the main budget is shown instead of the blank boxes at the end. Okay, perfect. Oh. Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Okay, so for our operational expenses, we budgeted approximately $50,000 at the beginning, and it says we have spent exactly $6,200 of that, but in reality, we did not spend it. We just moved it over to different accounts to start prepare for next year's budget, because obviously we had the extra money and we had some smaller, not as relevant accounts that could use the extra money for any upcoming events during the next school year. So that is where that $6,200 went. For prizes and gifts, we budgeted approximately $6,600 for that, and we have spent approximately $3,000 of that, leaving around $3,600. For the printing and copying budget, $3,000 of that is budgeted. Originally, it was budgeted at $1,500, but about a month ago, we had a vote and decided to increase that budget by $1,500 in order to pay for some printing and copying for brochures, pamphlets, etc., to help bring awareness to the VLSAC. And instead of sending an email, which is still effective, we thought it would be great to be able to hand something physically to students who are interested. For the other purchase services, which is basically a miscellaneous category, $2,500 of that was spent and only $2,500 of that was budgeted and only $9 of that was spent. For the marketing expenses, $500 of that have been spent, $500 of that have been budgeted, I apologize, and approximately $15 of that have been spent. And for the special events budget, approximately $29,500 was budgeted, and almost exactly $39,000 of that has been spent, leaving around $26,000 of that left for our spending for the upcoming table event and our table events, as we're calling it, and our award ceremony on May 5th. And in total, that we started in the main budget with approximately $92,000 budgeted and only around $7,000 of that spent, leaving us approximately $79,000 available for use. And Corey, if you don't mind to look at some of the pie charts, because I know that's a lot of numbers and it's hard. Okay, so for example, here is the pie chart for the special events. As you can see, only 13% of it has been spent and 87% has been saved so far. For the prizes and gifts budget, approximately 45% of it has been spent and 55% of it is still in savings. And while that may look like a lot, remember that's a smaller budget, so it's not as drastic as it seems. And overall, for the entire main budget, we have only spent 8% of it, while 92% of it is still budgeted and available for our use.
Awesome. All right, let me get back into our slides and we'll move on from there. Sarah, are you with us? I know you had some setup to do.
Yep. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. I'm in my car. This is my first time I've actually zoomed through my car. So tonight was my first night of being a soccer mom again. So we had to do a little meeting and it ran longer than expected. So I apologize, but I'm here.
No worries.
I don't really have too much to report this evening, but we are trying to get things together for the award ceremony. And when I say that, we are creating decorations because the award ceremony this year is a Cinco de Mayo theme. And if you think of Cinco de Mayo, you're thinking colors and piñatas and like a bunch of tissue paper. But we were thinking of creating these decorations, like handmade decorations. So to do that, we want to try to get some volunteers. So college students that want to get some volunteer hours, we're your group. So if you know of anyone or if you yourself have time, have like creative ideas for decorations, come to one of us, message us on our Facebook page, and we are more than willing to take any help that we can get.
That's right. Yeah, we are definitely techie and culinary oriented, but we are maybe not the best hands-on. I can't draw to save my life. So I think I can trace my hand, and that's might be it. So we would love to have some volunteers help us with some of the putting together some awesome decorations for our award ceremony. Beautiful, fun opportunity to meet you. So thanks, Sarah. That's great that you picked that up and mentioned that. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Gracie, why don't you tell a little bit about the meeting that we went to today, and start with just the one that was kind of for us, the first one.
Mm-hmm. Let me look at the name. Middle States, I forget the last part of the organization's name. Corey,
so it's Middle States Accreditation.
That's it, accreditation. They came to the Harrisburg campus where myself, Corinne, Emily, and Sarah were to help represent the VLSAC, along with other various faculty members. And we had a meeting where we basically explained what we do and how efficient it is, what the updates will be in the future or in helping other virtual students, and basically how we work as a whole.
So what kind of questions do you remember them asking us, Gracie? Does it come to mind?
Basically, they were asking about our success rates, hybrid, or that's what the word they use, but we consider it blended versus full-on virtual students, how accessible is virtual learning, and overall, basically, why should somebody choose virtual learning over a on-campus brick and mortar traditional schooling?
Sarah, did you have any cool takeaways from our meeting this morning with them?
I mean, I definitely think that in virtual learning back like 5-6 years ago, I know that it was kind of touched on in the meeting 5-6 years ago. Virtual learning was not really, major. Same thing with dual enrollment. It was not really known very well. So I definitely think that this meeting was a good step up. That people are finally acknowledging that virtual is a thing. That it's high demand, and it's helpful for people. That you don't always have to go to a brick and mortar school to get your education. You can do it at home. So I definitely think that meeting was kind of a good stepping stone for us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the word that was used in the meeting a lot was competitive, and students find it sometimes really challenging to make sure that they get into their online courses. When enrollment opens, you could go online the first day and realize that, the class is already halfway full or full. But we were able to kind of celebrate some successes from virtual learning in implementing winter term, which is still relatively new. I know Gracie didn't know that. And just things like that were working for virtual students, as well as just kind of hearing, how do all these offices at HAC work together to make this work for the virtual students at home. So it was really an opportunity that they were listening to us. We could tell them a little bit about survey feedback we've gathered, and they were all ears for that, as were all the, faculty and admin and staff of HAC that were in the room as well. So lots of good things, I think, to come from that. Even some of the things that were talked about gave us some direction on things that maybe we could be doing to, further assist virtual learning students here at HAC. I'm not going to focus too much, I don't think, on the second part, Gracie, unless you had some big takeaways from the second meeting. I'll leave that to you.
I believe that what we already mentioned is very similar to what we talked about in the second meeting with the Harrisburg SGA. So I think we can move on, unless anybody has any questions, obviously.
Yeah, feel free to chat something in the box if you have any questions. We'll read them out and we'll go from there. But yeah, like Gracie said, the second meeting we were joined by Harrisburg Student Government and Student Programming Board. And it was much of the same. They had some different questions. They maybe followed up a little differently. But for the most part, we went over a lot more specifics to virtual in our first meeting that we'll highlight here today. If there are no questions, go right ahead, Gracie. Oh, I'm sorry. This one's mine. Okay, this one's my baby. So I just wanted to get an opportunity to ask any attendees tonight. So Deborah, that's you. If you had any suggestions or things that you thought would be relevant for us to include in it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I have a dog too. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm just learning how to do Zoom. This is my first semester as a virtual student, so I'm still figuring things out.
Oh, well, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I attended back in the 1980s as on campus at Harrisburg, and I'm returning as a GERT student now. So I work full-time and part-time. So I thought this would be, the best thing for me. And the biggest thing for me is the learning curve, how to, use technology But once I'm getting past that, everything else is, smooth sailing. I really enjoy taking virtual classes.
Oh, good. We're so glad to hear that. Yeah, the technology stuff is interesting. Even from our perspective, the college keeps trying to find new ways to adapt. I know that they're coming out with a better mobile-friendly version of D2L at the end of this semester. I think it will be implemented over the summer.
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct? Okay, good. So that's kind of a new, kind of cool thing. And Zoom is still new to us too, because we used to use a video conferencing tool called Adobe Connect. But we find that Zoom is much easier. So yeah, depending on what device you're using, I think we're very happy with it so far. If you have an opportunity,
go ahead.
Sorry.
I use my Google Pixel. I guess it said my name was Pixel, which is kind of funny. So I guess it names you by whatever device you're using. I use my phone. So I'm having a little bit of issues with some of the modules and some things not picking up right away, but now I'm kind of figuring out how to do them a different way. So they are, I can't always download them on my phone. But
For your courses, you mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I definitely anticipate that what's called daylight. Is it called D2L or daylight D2L?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The new program, you mean?
Right. So they have Brightspace, which is kind of more practical on a computer, and now they're switching the mobile platform and calling it Daylight.
That'll be nice.
I'm expecting that to really help, especially like you said, you have a Pixel phone and Android. I might have an iPhone. Faith is another faithful Android user. So we all have so many different devices. I think that because it's specific to that style, you'll run into a lot easier time looking over material from your courses.
Oh, well, that'll be great.
And I would say, too, if you didn't join in with us on February 5th, we actually had a guest speaker come and tell us all about it a little bit. His name is Jason Bowden, and he's part of, at Hack working with the different offices in technology that can implement these kind of changes for students. So it's one of the videos that I think I have already up on D2L and the VLSAC page, but we are going to switch it over to YouTube soon too. So you might be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Yeah, I did do some of the YouTube tutorials that were recommended. To kind of prepare me, but yeah, this is my first class. It just started, I guess last week, March 12th. So, a little bit of a learning curve and just figuring stuff out. But this week is much better than last week.
That's all we can ask for. And hey, I know that you tuned in with us last week too. So you already found us. So you're right on your way.
Thanks. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and kind of move on. I think right now, unfortunately, we don't have the attendance tonight to go through some of these votes. So if you feel like it, Deborah, in your classes, you can let them know about our meetings that are held Monday nights. It's going to be really, really important that we get some students to come out next week so that we can pass these votes, specifically the first one. And there's just a little history here on this slide. When we held our award ceremony last year, we did it off campus, and so we had a much larger budget requested for that event. And this year, we're dropping our requested budget down to not exceed $12,000. So it's just something that if we don't have general council members, which is really pertains to any virtual students, attend meetings, we're not going to be able to move forward with our budget. And unfortunately, as we've been planning this event, we just haven't been able to send out any of our payments yet. So it's important that we do that. Also, we realize that we would need to have documentation on the next two items, which is Hack Tank. We've already voted to sponsor them as an executive council, and we just wanted to bring this out to the general council, let them know, and also let staff know that this has been talked about, and that we are also putting out, we do iPads as prizes in different contests and surveys. So it's something that we do use our budget to purchase the iPads, and we always want to let students know that we're doing that and get their vote on it. So maybe what I can do, Deborah, is I can email you some material, and if you feel as you want to, you feel free to share it with some classmates. We'll be trying to get the word out a little bit better, a little bit more in the coming weeks, so that we don't miss the opportunity to push some of these things forward next Monday.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate the help. So, but that being said, that really is all we brought out for tonight's meeting. We just wanted to make sure that students knew that we were able to kind of have a very impromptu meeting with Middle States Accreditation today. Went very well. So right here on this slide is just a little reminder. Our next meeting is obviously next Monday at 7 p.m. And then also to check out the D2L page for VLSAC, where we have our contest for an iPad up and running. There's information posted there. And our Facebook page is www.facebook.com/hackVLSAC. We'll keep posting some different information about the award ceremony nominations, because we did extend the deadline on those, and just information on how to get some extra tickets into the drawing for an iPad with our contest. We usually keep some exclusive stuff that we only put out on our Facebook page. So. But yeah, Deborah, thanks very much for joining us tonight. If you have any other questions, we're here and we can answer some. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the recording for D2L, unless everyone has anything else to add.
Before you do, I just want to do one more last push for the Day of Giving for the silent auction real quick. So the deadline for getting donations in is coming up very quickly, April 2nd. So that's roughly give and take 2 weeks. Still looking for some donations. If anyone has any or has a business in mind or independent consultant in mind, let me know. We're still accepting donations for our silent auction, which is April 18th. And that's the Day of Giving at all campuses.
Yeah, that's one way that we can help fund different Hack Foundation scholarships in the emergency fund to help students at Hack as well. And the VLSAC did sponsor or initiate 2 scholarships that are in the Hack Foundation scholarships list. So it's the only way that we're really able to put extra money in the little bank for that. So, that's one way that why we really work hard to make sure that we get information out there and help virtual learning with the auction. Faith, I'll be contacting you on that, actually.
Thank you. And remember, everyone, foundation scholarship applications are due the 23rd. Just a heads up. Make sure you do them.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to wrap up the recording. We're going to be here for a few extra minutes. Deborah, if you have any questions. But until then, VLSAC is out. Have a nice evening.
Bye.